I'm Kassim Ajani, Chief Operating Officer, Garment Business Consulting Limited, otherwise known as Garment Consult. Now, we talk about mass garment production and bespoke. And how do you say bespoke? Now, bespoke means, you want to make a garment, customized garment for individual, just like you, the moderator. You come to me as a fashion designer. What I do for is okay, fine. I want my style. This is my style. Please give me my style, right? Then we take your measurement, right? And we look at the design that works for you, that fits you perfectly. In the sense that we are customizing it, we look at you properly with proper measurements and we design to fit you perfectly. So that is bespoke. So on the contrary, what we do again is the mass garment production, where we produce in large quantity, right? We mass produce in large quantity. So what is the aim, right? Now talk about efficiency here. You know, the first thing you have to do when you want to go into play, in this field, you need to assemble your machines, right? Automation need to come in here. Standard operating procedure to be put in place because you are producing a mass, and any iota of mistake, right, it costs you dearly. Yes, we made a mistake in the past, but we learned in the journey. Now we are better off now. So the first thing you do, because bespoke, you can have one or two machines and you start working, right? Because you're talking about targeted customer and one person that you go and you produce to fit them. So under the slow fashion. On the fast fashion end, which is what the mass production, you're talking about having automation now, right? Chain of machines, right? So the value chain process had to be in place, right? Talking about the material sourcing and stuff like that, then up to the point of production, planning, production, talking about distribution, warehousing, then the customer service, stuff like that. So all this had to be put in place. So mass garment production entails you automating your process, getting the desired quality out because you are producing a similar product, right? And it's not similar, it's not familiar, it's not peculiar to the fashion industry alone, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the production line, like the assembly line of car production. Now I talk about Henry Ford that we are used to, Toyota and stuff like that. Then our competitors now, right? So Nike, right? Talk about Adidas. So this category of people are into mass production, and that's what we do. We have assemblies of a machine, right? An automated machine. I will put the necessary standard operating procedure in place to ensure that yes, every garment that comes out of garment consult is of top quality, right? And meet any standard in the world. So that is very key for us. Thank you. There's no there's no production without challenges. There's no craft or business without its own challenges, peculiar challenges, right? A mass garment production, it comes with its own challenges. So let's start with the setup, initial cost of setting up, right? That's the first thing. That's why I said, for you can play in that environment, you need to have assemble the top-notch machine, right? Right. So that is very, very key. You can't tell me you want to mass produce without having assemblies of machines, right? That is automated. That has to do, because you're talking about thousands of units of products now. You are showing out to your customer, and you have to meet the timeline. That is very key. So how do you meet up the timeline when you don't have the assemblies of machine, right? So that is very key. So initial costs, and these machines are expensive. You're talking about in terms of naira, you're talking about one of the cheapest machine. You're talking about 200 to 50,000 naira, so up to millions of naira. So that is and you're talking about having about 20, 30, 40, 50 of this machine in your assembly line. So that is capital intensive. So that is one major challenge that you are faced with, right? So the capital to assemble this, that is one. Then number two, expertise to operate this machine, right? So as we all are aware, right? Even when you assemble robots, you have artificial intelligence, you employ artificial intelligence, human beings, they still have part of this, right? So it reduces human interference, which is fine, but you still need some human elements, right? Human being to operate these machines, right? So in that case now, you need to operate them, you need to train them. Awareness is very key. So, and to get this expert or those who know how to operate this machine, it's not easy to come by. So in that situation, sometimes you have to train some of the staff, right? Someone may be good at this machine, they're not good at this machine, and you want them to what? Understand most of this, the function and the dynamics around this machine. In that regard, what you do, you have to train them, right? Aside training, you create awareness. That's why in Garment Consult, about banners all over the place where it reminds you of safety, talks about quality and stuff like that. So you see that. So when you come into the office, the first thing you see, talk about quality, talk about safety, all these things you see. So that awareness is being created at the point you are entering into the office. So training is very key. Manpower is limited, so you have to either you pay daily for it or you train staff for you to identify the risk, then mitigate against them, put control in place is very, very key for every business. That is very, very important. Right. So I haven't said in different capacity. I've been in the IT sector for years. Right. For the past decade, I've been in the IT sector where I double as the project manager, product manager, then operation manager. So you understand the aspect when I talk about risk, right? So it's not something that we toy with when I was working when I work in the IT environment. The same thing applied to the fashion environment as well. Every business at all, you should be able to identify the risk. That is very, very important. First, evaluating the internal processes and system. Two, external factor is very, very key too, right? So you have external factor that affects you. This is a risk too as well. That's why you talk about the SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, right? Your opportunities, then the threat. And that is very, very key. So as the operation manager, chief operating officer for Garment Consult, so we are very, very concerned in this area whereby we look at risk. We identify the risk in our operations, right? Talk about employee conduct is one of them, right? So breach of privacy data is something that you look into. Technology risk is there. You have to look at that as well. The machine we use, right? Develop issues. What are the technical strategies put in place when one phase, right, in the production line? You have to look into that, right? You have to look at the power, right? Because we consume a lot of excessive power. You are using more of the machine now. So the risk coming from them, then the pollution that may generate as well. These are things you need to look into. Then internal and external fraud, so you are online, right? You can't be doing this business without being online. So you have to market, you have to make your sales, you have to promote your brand online. So all these, there are risks attached in terms of fraud activities, both internal and external, between your staff and customer and stuff like that. That is very key. Physical event is very important in this in terms of natural catastrophe, act of God and stuff like that. This is something we look into. Then business processes. What are the processes you put in place? So we have a standard operating procedure that you put in place to guide our processes. That is very key, that every new start that comes in, you have to, that's your Bible, you have to understand it, study it, so I can follow it verbatim and understand the way we operate here. I'm not forgetting what I told you earlier on. We have trainings and awareness. These things we do. So this major thing that I put in place aside establishing the norm, whereby you understand the standard operating procedure, training, retraining, talking about awareness. That is very key. Other aspect, right, is number one, we having a risk register. So in that case, we identify the risk, right? So the risk, available risk, identifiable risk at that moment, because it's a continuous process. So more risk may surface than what, but the one that we've identified, we look at them. Then what we do next is to evaluate those risks. Talking about probability and impact now. So assessment of the risk, that is very key. This way you're able to categorize the risk into what we call the major, the minor, right, and risk. So if one is major means probability is high, right, or the impact is high, depending, right? So how do you now mitigate against when it is major? A major risk. What is the mitigation strategy you've put in place to avoid this from happening or to reduce it from happening? And we understand that yes, you either avoid it, the risk, or you transfer it. That's when you buy an insurance for it over the other, or you mitigate against it or prevent it from happening. These are things you could do. Have identified the risk, right? Categorize the risk as assessment of the risk, right? So then be able to mitigate and then put controls in place to mitigate. Mass garment production should speak to quality. Aside, we said, you want to mass produce in large quantity, you want to free up time, there is maximum output in less time. Yeah, that does not remove that component of quality from it. You and I know, right? So I always put this example there. We produce headgears, right? Coverall, right? School uniform, so security uniform, and the likes, right? Different headgears. Now, you supply your product to your customer, and you want to establish your presence in the market, right? So that's penetration. So the quality is top-notch, is very, very important. So in that case now, you have to balance things now in terms of, okay, fine, quality and production quantity. That quantity that have to meet up with market demand. That is very key. So in a bid to meet up with market demand, you shouldn't compromise quality. Now, what are the quality challenges? Some of the challenges we are faced with, right? So in Garment Consult, over the years, we document some of these things, the challenges we're faced with. One of them is the sewing defect, right, which we try to mitigate against, right? We identify that, right? So sewing defect is something that talking about stitching error, talking about fabrics flaw, right, and loose thread, and so on and so forth. These are some of challenges. Number two, talking about color defects, right, or mismatch. That's something you look into as well. Print matching problems and that thing again that you look into. Then I'm talking about wrong gradation, right? So of sizes, right? That's something that we do come across sometimes. Then poor quality of labeling. That's something, before you roll out, you have to label properly, right? So because you have different sizes, right? You have the small size, what's it called, medium, large, extra large, extra large. So that is very key. So attention to this detail is cool and it's very important. I went to let me give you a good example. I went to a conference. In that conference, we were giving branded t-shirts, right? So because we're not told to, when we're registering online, we're not told to select the size of branded t-shirts you would prefer. So it was randomly done. So when I was giving my own souvenir or pack, I got an extra large t-shirt, which I couldn't wear till now. I had to give it out to somebody who is oversized, right? So if I was given that privilege to select, I would ask, okay, fine, I'm going for large or extra large. But I got extra large, right, which I couldn't use. So in that case now, it doesn't fit. It's not fit for purpose for me, right? So I was not happy. The same thing when it's about quality as well. So part of this had to be taken into consideration. So in that case, proper labeling is fine. You are not labeling small, large. You are not labeling large, extra large. That is very key. So that's quality in place. Talking about color now, color mismatch. So you have to be very on that as well to ensure that yes, the color look alike. Someone prefers black, or talking about turquoise blue. Turquoise blue is different from blue. So in that scenario, you have to be very cautious of the color that they match. That is very key. Then straight sewing, you can't take that away. Now you are using machine, so everything is being automated, whereby you program and the machine is so straight. right? So these are some of the attention to detail that people look into, that I myself will look into, right? Because we have a quality control department that does that, right? After production, they are together with us when we're doing planning, because they have to understand the process to go to do a proper quality assurance, right? So in that process, when we were planning for the production, they are there throughout. Then before they do that quality control, right? And then before it is now shipped out, right? So as I told you, I'm in the technology around the IT sector. So you understand that, yes, technology is evolving on daily basis. So something of 3 months ago, this before you know it, advanced new things are sprung up, and then you will have to catch up with. So for you not to play catch up, you need to be on top of the game, right? Be aware, right? Look at what is trending. That's why we have the social media, you have blogs, right? So you have everywhere, so many places where you can gather information, so that you be on top of the game, apart with what is the reality happening all over the world. So in fashion, you have to trend as well. You have to produce what's a garment that is trending as well. So a mass production environment, right? So we have so many technology that are evolving, right? Aside the new brands of machine that you have to assemble, right, to what's it called, to assist in the production line, right? That is very key. You have what they call the AI, artificial intelligence, right? That is very key. We all understand what AI means, it has come to stay, and then the importance of AI, right, to us. So we can't take it away. So AI is used to improve shopping experience of our customer. So we gather this intelligent data from our customer, then we run it to AI, and it gives us the insight on how the customer behavior and stuff like that. So we can make informed decision when doing production. You don't just produce blindfolded. I talked about data the other time. That okay, Africa here we are brought in capturing data. But we started that initiative now, right? So to gather data, and we run that data so that we can make informed decision when we are producing, right? So we don't just produce and nobody wants to buy. You have to understand the customer need. That is very, very key. So artificial intelligence has come to stay. You have what we call Internet of Things, right? IoT. So that is something else again that has come to stay. So when we talk about kind of things, talk about things here, you see, these are embedded with what technology, right, to allow the exchange. When we talk about exchange, now talking about exchange and connection of data. So when we say things, are talking about the data, right, over the internet. That's what the Internet of Things. So able to gather information, right, we exchange over the internet about customer behavior, about peers, right, in the feed, competitors, right, and stuff like that. That is very, very important. So mobile commerce has come to stay as well. We use our phones and stuff like that to make get information, the trending, what is happening over the world and stuff like that. So mobile commerce is very. I will do most of our shopping online too. So your presence is very key. You have to be online as well, right? It's very key. Your website should be there. You have blogs that people can read to see the trends in the market and stuff like that. That is very, very key as well. You have the blockchain, right? And blockchain technology that has come to stay, right? So this is a great tool. Blockchain is a great tool for transparency, talking about traceability and efficiency in the supply chain, right? You cannot do that the supply chain in mass garment production. You know, when you talk about supply chain, now you're talking about when you're talking about number one, after you've sourced for the product, right? The materials. Material sourcing is very key. When you source for the material, that you are sourcing for the right material at a competitive price, that is very key. That is one. Then you do the planning, right? So when you do the planning, you have your tools there, you have your automation, you input your data and stuff like that, because you have material like Flow 3D, right? So 3D printing, right? So this one gives you a perfect match. So you just input the data, the size, right, you wanted, and gives you a perfect match. How it will look like when you print it out. So that is another machine we're talking about, that technology we're talking about, Flow 3D, another distance example for that machine. So that is very key. So when you do that, you do the planning, then you do the production. After the production now, the next point of call is towards to dish it out. So you push it out. So you need a logistic in this environment whereby, okay, is it to retailer, right? A big company that's requested, or you are pushing to the market, right, for sale, or you are pushing to retailer. That is one thing. So there's logistics here that is very important. And these are some of the challenges we have with, logistics is very key. You may not have all, you may not control this value in total. So you may have third party coming in this regard to help. So in that case now, this value chain is very key. Then not forgetting the customer, the warehousing is key too. Sometimes you want to have your warehouse close to the market where you can easily push a ship to the market when demand arises. Is very key. So that warehouse is key too. Then the last one, but not the least, is the customer service, right? So people, do they have any complaint about your product? Do they have any comment, right, or feedback for you? That line is very key because customer satisfaction is at topmost goal, right? So in that case, what we do is to have a customer service department that handle this, right? Get feedback on customer. If any complaint we need to resolve quickly, right? All these things are very key. So talking about technology now, I mentioned the blockchain, Internet of Things, mobile commerce, talking about 3D printing, right? So I name it. These are technology that is shaping the face of mass garment production at the moment. Every other business, the future is bright, and right, and just like mass garment production as well, we see brighter future, right? We see more of automation, right? Introducing more automation, new innovations coming on board and stuff like that have been seen in the past. So more is still coming. So we as Garment Consult, right, in the mass production environment, we just have to keep abreast with the trends, right? So and able to prepare ourselves for the the challenges ahead, right? Because look at the population. Take Nigeria as a case study, right? So we have more than 100 million population, and they have to be clothed, right? You can't go out naked. So both the young, the middle, the aged one, they have to be clothed. So in this case now, so then talk about our organizations and our offices, right? So schools, they are there, so they have to put on uniform. So in this case, mass garment production is the future is bright, right? Like we saying now. So, and how do we now measure up to go to meet the market demand? But that's another thing that is, yes, producing it is something, top quality is something, then meeting up with the demand because of the population. Now, you're not talking about outside Nigeria. We're talking about 20 million Nigeria first. Right? So more than 20 million Nigeria, then talking about Africa because we are into Ghana, we are into Benin Republic, we are into Togo, right? So Cote d'Ivoire, these are countries we will be harnessing and we take our goods to, right? So, and so how do we meet up with the demand of this customer? That is something that we're working on a daily basis, right? Improving our automation process, improving our quality process, right? So, and then taking blogs, right? We're not, as you said, like I said earlier on, awareness is very key. So we're sticking to blogs, right? So going to the internet, browsing, searching for information, right? So that what is trending, what are the new technology in place that we can adapt, right? So the one we cannot adapt now, what are the processes? What is the plan to adapt to them in the nearest future? That's something we're looking into. So we don't have to be caught napping unaware of what is happening, what's trending. So what we're doing now on a daily basis to ensure that, yes, we are top of our game, all right? So get abreast with what is trending, what is happening in the mass production world. Then I know we'll go towards get that to that point whereby we penetrate into not only Nigerian market, want to penetrate African market. Yes, we are doing good at the West African market at the moment, but not only that, we are not satisfied yet. We want to conquer African market. Not only that, then go to Europe as well and America. So that's what we're looking into.